All right, so for today's video, I'm going to talk about lucid dreaming rest days, and this is basically something that you can add to your practice in order to amplify the results that you're getting. If you feel like in your lucid dream practice, like you're hitting a plateau, like you're hitting a ceiling, then what you can do is you can add these rest days to your practice, right? And what a lucid dream rest day is a day that you don't do dream journaling and you don't do any lucid dream techniques, right? And so like, what's the reason for this, right? The reason why you would want to add lucid dream rest days is if you feel like if you get to that point in your practice where lucid dreaming feels like a big chore, like it feels like a chore to do. It feels like something that you like. It feels like you're developing like mental fatigue, and like you don't really want to do it. Like you're losing sight of like why you started. Then that's something that you can do is you can add rest days to your practice. Like you're not taking a break, you're not quitting. You're just adding rest days to strategically make sure that like your mind is like primed and ready for the days that you do do a lucid dream, do your technique, you do your dream journaling, right? But it's the same basic principle that as like rest days when you go to the gym. It's like whenever you go, like whenever I was working out 7 days a week, right? I used to be like a whole team no days off kind of a guy, right? I used to do like whole body workouts every single day, and I could barely do like 40 or 50 push-ups. And like I remember like one time I took like 2 rest days. I took 2 days off where I didn't run, I didn't do any push-ups, pull-ups, squats, planks, whatever. I didn't do anything for 2 days, and like I came back and I was able to crank out 70 push-ups for the first time. So like, and like the more rest days I take, like the more I'm able to surpass my previous goals and my previous personal records on my previous PRs in terms of like the amount of push-ups I can do in a row, the amount of pull-ups I can do in a row, right? So in the same way that you have to add rest days in order to recover, right? You can because you develop a physical fatigue whenever you do your exercises. Like you can also develop a mental fatigue whenever you're doing like a lucid dream practice, and you're trying so hard for so long in order to get lucid, and and instead of it being like this huge thing that you're excited for, it becomes like this huge chore, and like you don't want to do it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to like try it. Like, and so if you ever get to that stage, then add rest days, right? To allow your mind to sort of calibrate itself, allow it to take a break. And it's the same thing as like whenever you're studying, or like for me personally, like in high school, like whenever I would take like whenever I would do computer science stuff, I remember like sometimes I would come across a problem that I couldn't solve no matter how hard I tried, and so like I would take a break where I would do fuck all nothing, and like the next day I was able to solve it like that, right? So, and it's the same thing with lucid dreaming, I believe, where if you allow yourself to take rest days, if you allow yourself to like, if you're at that point where it feels like a huge chore, and like it feels like a huge chore to do, and it feels like like you're not really, like if your heart's not in it, as they say, right? Like if you feel like your heart's not really in it anymore, and like it feels like you're trying so much, and like you're tired of not getting like that next level of results that you want. Thing like taking lucid dream rest days, or adding a couple of days a week where you don't dream journal, you don't do any lucid dream techniques, can actually be beneficial, because not only because you have a time to like mentally recover, and to sort of hype yourself up again, but you also have time to it's almost like you can sort of look at the difference between what it's like to perform your lucid dream technique and what it's like to fall asleep normally. And and so it's like you can sort of feel out like the difference between the two. You can feel out the difference between what is it like to fall asleep normally and like be completely distracted, and what's it like to be to do a technique and to actually maintain awareness, right? So, and so being able to feel out that difference, being able to know the difference between those two things is also important. Um, and it can boost your practice, because you can sort of tell, okay, like what am I doing right and what am I doing wrong. And it's the same way of like taking a break when studying, taking a break when doing computer science stuff. Like I did when I was in high school. Like sometimes I'd take like a break, like a day or two off, from that, or I would take like a couple of hours to just mull things over, and I would come back and I would have an immediate solution. And it's the same thing with lucid dreaming, where you might be trying, and like it's like you got lucid a couple of times where you don't know exactly what made it work, and like your brain might need time to mull things over, to integrate that knowledge in the brain, right? Like it might need time to essentially absorb and integrate all that knowledge into your head. And also like another thing too is that if you go into like this element of psychic fatigue, right? Like you're having like a mental fatigue from you're trying like 7 days a week to get lucid, and like you're waking up and dream journaling and falling back asleep, and like you don't know, and it feels like it's like the intensity at which you can focus. If you like, it feels like for me personally, one of the things that happened was like because I felt like, oh, okay, like I know that I need like so there's like a certain level of focus, a certain level of intensity of focus that you need in order to maintain awareness. And for some reason, like I felt like it's almost like I was like, eh. Well, it was sort of like a wet lettuce, lukewarm sort of energy, where it's like in my energy reserves in my mind, like it feels like there's not as much of that oomph, right? And so I do think that there is like a mental fatigue that you can develop if you try for so long to get lucid, and like you don't get the feedback that you want, right? Because if you don't get a certain level of feedback, then it's like it becomes demotivating, right? It becomes demotivating if you don't get a certain level of feedback. And in the same way that I was sort of hitting that ceiling of like 40 to 50 push-ups I could barely do because I was working out every day, like I would work out the next day and I would feel sore from the push-ups I did the previous day. So there was just a constant level of fatigue holding me back. And whenever I took those 2 rest days for my physical body, whenever I came back, my muscles felt springy, and like I had more of those energy reserves to do more of that physical work. And it's the same thing with with mental work, right? That you might have a certain psychic fatigue, you might have like an energy fatigue where like you've tried for so hard for so long that like even if you take like a day off or two, or like literally last night, like I didn't do any lucid dream techniques. I didn't do any dream journaling. Even though I had like my dream journal like on the side of my bed, I didn't do any dream journaling. I didn't do any lucid dream techniques. And even if you take like a day or two off, like it can make a huge difference in terms of like the amount of like willpower, the amount of oomph, like the amount of energy that you have behind your practice, because like, it's like you have time to breathe, you have time to recover, right? And there was something else I was going to mention too about the whole rest days, like the whole rest day thing. Or maybe I already mentioned it, but dang, it's like one of those times where it's like your brain forgets something, but it doesn't know what it forgot. Um, but yeah, it's like those lucid dream, like that certain level of intensity, right? It is so like, it's something that like you need like a certain level of focus, a certain level of intensity in order to enter the dream with consciousness. And if it's like if you're trying hard every single day, I think this is what it is that I wanted to mention is like if you try like it's impossible to go full throttle every single day. Even like Olympic sprinters will only go full capacity like once a week, right? Because in order for you to go 100%, it takes more out of your system. And so like, this is why like you need rest days. This is why you need like you need days to recover, because you need to sort of build up energy. You need to remove fatigue. You need to build up energy for you to go high intensity on those days where you do work out physically. And I think that does apply to lucid dreaming, where it's like if you're trying super hard every single day and you're not getting results, and it feels like this huge chore. Which that exact same thing happened with working out. It felt like this huge chore. Like my body felt fatigued like all the time whenever I was doing like the 7 days a week. It felt just super fatigued. I felt like it's like this big chore. Like, and I'm not progressing. I'm getting the same results every day, and it's like But I took those just 2 days off, and I was able to come back with that extra oomph, that extra energy that I needed in order to go to that next level in my physical sort of like with body weight training, like the push-ups, pull-ups, right, that sort of thing, or going to that next level, right? So, and I think and the same thing applies with lucid dreaming, or like any mental practice, right? Because I remember doing this with like computer science, or like taking a couple of days off from doing computer stuff, or taking a couple of days off from doing working on a computer problem. And I would come back and I would have a quick solution, right? Because you have time to rest, you have time to remove fatigue, you have time to mull things over, and you have time to yet again, like there is a sort of psychic fatigue that you can build up by mentally exerting yourself every single day, on something. And so if you take that break, if you allow your mind to sort of breathe, if you allow your mind to sort of rest and to sort of mull things over, it's almost like your solar plexus can sort of build up energy. Because if you think of like the solar plexus as like the center for willpower, right? It's the center for like whenever you want that oomph behind the things that you do. Like if you try yet again, if you try 100%, 7 days a week, you eventually develop that fatigue. And so if you apply like rest days from the gym to your lucid dream practice, it can be very beneficial because you can come back with more of that motivation, more of that that sort of life force, because it can sort of feel like it's like I want to try hard. It's like I want to, like, because I know that I need a certain level of focus. I know that I need to try hard in order to maintain my awareness. I know there's like a certain level of focus that I need, but it's like the energy reserves just aren't there for some reason, right? It's like the energy reserves aren't there, for some reason, because you're constantly using them every single day. And so taking a day or two off can be very beneficial for sort of regenerating those energy reserves, those psychic. If you think about like psychic energy, mental energy, if you don't believe that stuff, you can think about it like you know like um like psychological energy, or like rebuilding that psychological energy back up, letting those neural pathways sort of breathe, sort of rest for a second, and then you can come back with a vengeance. So you can come back with more of that energy, more of that willpower, and you're more motivated because of the. And it's the same thing with like going to the gym, where it's like if you rest for long enough that you get to the point where it's like you feel like shooting energy balls out of your hands, like you're ready to go. And that's the whole point of rest days, is that you're fully recovering, so that you get your muscles fully recover, so that your muscles get bigger, right? And it's the same thing with lucid dreaming. If you're trying super hard, and you keep hitting this wall of where it's like you're getting results, but it's not the kind of results that you want. Like you're not getting like that next level of results, and it feels like this huge chore. It feels like this huge drag to dream journal and to do a technique, and you're losing that sort of spark. Then take a couple of days off a week and see what happens, right? So then, but yeah, I don't think anyone else has talked about lucid dream rest days, and and maybe it could be beneficial to you, because I know it's beneficial to me, in areas where that require mental effort. Taking a break for like a day or two, really does help. Because I even remember, like sometimes whenever I have to go on a trip, like a road trip, or like I have to like visit like a family member's house, or like I remember like sometimes like I'll do that, and like my practice will be asked whenever I'm over there. Like sometimes I'll bring my dream journal, but sometimes I won't, and like I won't be focused on lucid dreaming like at all. And I'll come back and I'll be extra motivated to get lucid, and like I'll have like these extra energy reserves whenever I come back from like that visiting the family member, your family member's house or whatever, or going on that road trip, because yeah, like I'll have those extra reserves because of the fact that like I wasn't trying to exert myself in that area of my life for a period of time. Like I removed that fatigue. So maybe that can help you out for your lucid dream practice, if you're at that stage where it's like lucid dreaming is becoming like this huge chore. It's like a huge drag, and you don't know why you're not achieving like that next level of results. Like you're not getting lucid as often as you want to, right? And it's like you've tried for so hard for so long, and you're still getting the same results. Then maybe it's time to take a couple of rest days off, and see if you come back with more of that energy, right? But yeah, that's the video.